when the world has got you down. And
Alzheimer's sucks. It's an equal opportunity disease that chips away at everything we hold dear. And to date, there's no cure. So until there is, we continue to fight with the most powerful tool in our arsenal, love. This is Love Conquers Alls, a real and really positive podcast that takes a deep dive into everything Alzheimer's, the good, the bad, and everything in between. And now, here are your hosts, Susie Singer-Carter and me, Don Priest.
Hi, everybody. I'm Susie Singer-Carter.
And I'm Don Priest, and this is Love Conquers Alls. Hello, Susan.
Hello. Now you sound like there's something weird going on with your mic.
Is it too quiet?
Nope. No, it just
Not
it was
too
noisy
quiet?
for a second. Now maybe you're okay now.
I think we'd be
Yeah.
over again. Here, I'll
I like-
move it a little closer to me. How about that?
Fine, we're good. We're not just
Okay.
put it over. Yeah.
All right.
This is like people
We'll
like
try
the
again.
behind the scenes kind of thing.
Oh, so you want to keep this? We're not going to start over.
No,
is what you're
no,
saying.
people like it. See, it's like
Wow,
it's
this
like
is
the real-
exciting.
It's the real deal. We're authentic. We're authentic. Bad
Yeah.
producers. Anyway, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Still adjusting to the new surroundings here.
Yeah,
the
we were
new-
just
the new
talking about it.
office.
Don has got good lighting, Sitch, and my lighting is. I'm still challenged. I'm lighting challenged a little bit. I got to figure this out.
Yeah.
Because I have a very big office now, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking around. It's very big. It's lofty. And
Yes.
and I have a lot of windows, and I don't know what to do because it's throwing shadows all over the place. But anyway, that's no big deal because we're here to talk about really important things. One very
We are.
important thing is that our documentary, No Country for Old People, launches on Amazon on August 1st, which is such an amazing place to be at this point. We've been working 3 years. Very, very... We've been immersed in this project for 3 years, and we have not really seen the light of day. We weren't sure what was going to happen. Obviously, we're filmmakers, but usually someone else takes care of that part of the project, which is the distribution and all that stuff. And this is such a wildly controversial topic, and we just thought, let's pray that we will get distribution. So hallelujah.
Yeah, because we could have put 3 years into it, and then somebody said, no, we're not going to show this. So it's a huge hurdle.
Yeah.
Just the fact that they said yes, and they say yes enthusiastically.
Yeah.
We're partnering with Buffalo 8 distributors, and they were very enthusiastic from the beginning, and really it hit their heart. And now it's going to be out there, and of course we hope it does what it was meant to do, and that's to make change.
Yeah. Pause 1 sec, Don. Pull your mic a little bit away. It's kind of distorting.
Then let me just turn my mic gain down.
Yeah.
Is it annoying distorting?
Yes.
Or should we start?
No, it's
well,
okay.
I don't want to. Okay, it's okay.
It's okay
Okay,
now.
how's that? Is that better?
Much better.
Is that
Yeah,
better?
you were getting a little bit of noisy, crunchy stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
God, and it was so good. I mean, it was brilliant what I
No,
said, and now
I
it's going to be all
know, I know.
crunchy.
So
Oh,
crunchy and-
so disappointed.
Yeah. But we're good. That's how we roll. We're very
It is how we
resilient.
roll.
We're resilient. We go through the crunch like no other. So so we're excited, everybody, to be at this place, and keep sharing if you care about what our future as elder people will be, and I'm very close to that, and then what our loved ones are going through or will go through, and it's not just for elder people, as you know, we talk about this all the time. It's about people who are vulnerable, who need long-term care, and that system is broken. It's been broken, and it's been broken for a reason. It's been strategically broken so people can benefit from it that shouldn't be benefiting from it. So, and most of us don't know until we're in that situation and then realize, oh my God, what planet have I just landed on? So hope, that's why this documentary is so important, to educate the public, the collective, and for everyone to be so up in arms that they are just going to say, knock it off. We can't do this anymore. We have to change this system. So share, talk about it, and please watch it, please review it. You know, if you're on, what is it on?
Letterboxd.
Letterboxd, thank you. Okay. If you have a profile on Letterboxd, which we just learned about, because apparently, I guess I'm eking into that older generation because I still go to Rotten Tomatoes, but apparently it's not the place to go and get your ratings or your reviews because it's like old school. So you need to go to Letterboxd. And that's where everybody has huge conversations and shares, you know, lists and things like that about movies, whether it's documentaries or narratives, whatever. And so if if you're on Letterboxd, spread the word there because that's a really good place to spread the word. We really appreciate that. And also, if you have a tutorial on it, please send it my way because I don't get it, and there's too many social media platforms. My God. Threads, I don't know.
Let's not go there.
Anyway, so speaking of generations, look at that. Look what I just did.
Yes.
I did see that's where I
fancy.
excel. I excel like that.
That was
Ron,
super fancy.
We have a really
Yes.
great interview today, and why don't you tell us about it, and then we'll figure out how generations fits into that.
I will do that right now.
Thanks.
NICOLE àBECKETT is a visionary entrepreneur and passionate advocate for social impact. As co-founder of Hero Generation, along with her co-founder Shruti Roy, they are transforming the way we support family caregivers, bringing connection and clarity to one of the toughest roles in society. NICOLE also co-founded Same Side, blending civic engagement with culture to make activism more accessible and fun. From caregiving to civic change, NICOLE and Shruti are redefining what it means to show up for each other and for our communities. And we are so glad that NICOLE showed up for us today. Yeah. So let's not take another moment and say hello to Dodger fan NICOLE àBECKETT. Hello, NICOLE.
That was the best intro I've ever received. Oh my goodness. We got in Dodgers, we got in my old company, Same Side, and of course, Hero Generation. Thank you guys for having me.
So welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for rescheduling and coming back again because we got, I don't know what happened, but you're here.
Yes.
And you're lovely. Yes. She looks like a beach bunny, and she's very, very cool. And
I was listening to Beach Boys songs all day in honor of Brian Wilson.
See,
so
there you
I'll
go.
Take that. Yeah.
I know.
Yes, let's take a moment for Brian.
Yes.
Thank you.
True, very true. Mm-hmm. So, Hero Generation and your whole interest in social activism is so on point with us right now because we're starting a movement called Roar for our documentary, which is a social movement that we feel like, you know, that change comes from the collective.
Yeah.
So and you know, it's a daunting process. So we're really interested in how you got into it, how you see it, how you frame it, and how others can take your lead. So tell us about your origin story, as it were, in terms of caregiving. Why don't we start there?
Okay, absolutely. Well, again, Dawn and Susie, thank you so much for having me. Being able to spread the word with people who, use their platform for so much good as well is always heartwarming to be part of the community. So appreciate you both for that to start.
Thank you.
So Hero Generation, the seeds of it really started with my caregiving journey, which really began in full effect about 10 years ago when my dad was ending his 15-year battle with prostate cancer. Wow. He had elected to forego any more treatment. Like I said, he had been battling it for 15 years and just, had come to the end and made peace with that. But that's when, we were both, my mom was his primary caregiver and, myself being very close. We kicked into high gear of caregiving and, suddenly all these questions and to-dos were coming hard and fast. And, what's the difference between palliative care and hospice care?
Totally.
What medications should he be on now? And, the list is forever changing. He's going to stop some, but not others. And so obviously that was incredibly overwhelming. And my mom also had long suffered from a lung disease. So I was really trying to relieve a lot of stress from her. And I have a background, as you mentioned, I have a background in startups, tech platforms. So surely I thought there's got to be something out there to help me manage, organize all the things that need to be done, information, place to keep it all in one place. Because I do that in, my everyday life and in work. So certainly there's got to be something for like healthcare or caregiving. Didn't see it. Didn't find what I needed. And my dad passed at the end of 2015. And, you go on with life as you do. And then my caregiving role really kicked into high gear when my mom, who as I mentioned, had a lung disease called interstitial lung disease, needed a lot more support. Her disease had really kind of taken a turn. And so in 2018, I became her primary caregiver. She moved much closer to me than she had been. And I was now going to all her doctor's appointments. I was supporting her with her medication. I was, helping out with home stuff and housekeeping stuff. I was managing bills and taxes. We talked about long-term care. They both had long-term care, but that is not an easy system to help manage. So as you can imagine, that was a lot of overwhelm again. And mind you, I had 2 very young children by that time. I'd had my second child in 2018. So, right when I was taking over, supporting her more. So again, I was like, surely by now there has to be something that can help me. And especially with like resources, understanding what's out there. And again, I just didn't find anything that existed. And I was, running my old company, same side. So I just kind of went on with life. And my mom ended up passing in 2021. And so I kind of came out of that. I always say I felt like I was in a washing machine, just tumbling, not having any control of what was going on in my life. And I finally came out, and it was really, 2024, end of 23, 24 that I started putting the pieces together for Hero Generation, recognizing that we need to have something that supports family caregivers in terms of being able to have all the information in one place, bring in a team to help support. I have a very large family, and they all really wanted to help, but I had no idea how to manage that help, how to give them things to do in a really easy manner. It almost became more work to manage my family. That
it is hard to delegate, right? It's really hard.
Incredibly hard, because they'll ask, you'll be on the phone, maybe you're driving in the car, and they'll say, what can I do? And like, oh, let me think about it later, or when I get home, and then you forget, and then you think about it in the shower, or 3 o'clock in the morning when you can't sleep, and
then you have to organize it. You have to then you have to schedule it and do all those. And instead of caregiving, you're doing that.
And when you're the lead person, like you were, and you just have a natural affinity to it, and so I did, it becomes, like you said, extra work, because you now have to be the manager. And that's really hard, because it puts an extra pressure on you, because now if you do it, it's done.
Exactly.
Someone else is doing it, you're worried, is it done?
Well, is it done? Also, you need to give them extra information, maybe the insurance card, where's the pharmacy, what medications, or where's the doctor's office, what, my brother, who's amazing, lives in a different part of California, but he would come up and support, but then, he would need all that info. What do I tell them? What's the latest with mom? What info do I need to share? So you will often say, it's okay, I'll just do it. So the primary caregiver, it just builds and builds and builds, right? So understanding all of that, my co-founder, so Shruti Roy, who's also a doctor, she's a physician, but she's also going through caregiving herself. Her father was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, and her mother has an autoimmune condition. So she's in the middle of it right now herself, but we came together and said, we've got to be able to build a way for people to just organize the complexity and offload some of the stress of caregiving, because I don't think it needs to be this way. And so Hero Generation is 3 main pillars, really. So the first one is the collaboration and organization that we talked about. So we have a loved one's profile where you can keep all the information, the insurance card, the doctor's names and locations, the current medications, where the pharmacy is, any legal documents. We have it all listed, and you just upload the information easily, and you can bring in a team, as many people as you want, and there's different levels of information that they can see. So of course, you don't want the family friend who's going to maybe pick up groceries, you don't want them seeing, the legal document, right? So you can definitely, there's high security on all of those pieces of information, but it's just all in one place that you can easily say, to my brother, it's in Hero Generation, just go check it out there. And then the companion piece to that is the task and calendar management. So you can go in and create all your to-dos, that to-do list that never ends, and you can assign it to team members, or you can leave them unassigned. So when somebody says, what can I do to help? You just say, go into Hero Generation and take one of those tasks off my list. They do it, they click a little button that says done, and you know that it's done. All the information's there. It just makes it so much easier to manage the holistic picture of caregiving.
It's like a wedding registry, if you will.
Yeah, kind of. Exactly. It's collaboration.
And even if you don't have a team, even if it's just you yourself, just the organization, it's all there. You don't have to think about it. You can remind yourself, you can schedule yourself, and that's
absolutely. It syncs to your calendar. So we also have a notes section, again, which we all have notes on our phone. And what we really wanted to do with Hero Generation was bring everything all in one place, because oftentimes you're like, where was that? The last time I went to the doctor, what did they say? What did I put that in a note? Was it in a text message? Did I put it in a Google Doc? Where was it? We just want that all to be in one place, so you're not spending just that extra time searching and I don't know if I mentioned this already, but it's not like death by a thousand cuts, right? Where it just all keeps piling on that extra time that you're spending just organizing. And we just wanted to make it as easy as possible for caregivers to manage this really highly stressful, both emotionally, physically process, and just make it a lot easier. So that's what we cover with the first pillar. The second pillar are resources. So that question that I asked, what's the difference between hospice care and palliative care? Right? You can Google it and, get different information, and, Google's getting better with their AI, but we wanted to give a place where real people were answering some of the more common questions. And so we have a video library on our site that people can search through, and it's a lot of the more common questions that come with caregiving, especially around estate planning or ER care. We've got physicians, we've got lawyers, we have experts in their field sharing their expertise. And it's all in one place again, and you can go through, and that 3 a.m. wake up when you just can't sleep and you're stressed about something, you can go through it on your own time. And then in addition to that, we do have our digital caregiving expert, which is powered by AI. But what we're really proud of is that we've wrapped her in, her name is, it's Ask Andrea, so she's named after my mom. But we've really wrapped her in an empathetic voice, understanding the caregiver side. So you can ask a question very specific and tailored to your situation. I'm in LA. My mom was just diagnosed with dementia. Where do I even begin? And it'll give you LA, geographic resources, some questions you can ask, some things to start thinking about, and you can have that dialogue with her. And we say, it's just a starting point. It's not going to replace real, legal experts, etc. Always talk to them, but it's like that, those times when you're just like, I just need somebody to talk to, and they can just start that information, give you that information, feel a little bit less stressed out, more empowered, is really what we wanted to bring with her. And then again, she wraps it in, always saying, you're doing a great job. This is a challenging time. I understand this is very difficult, but you're doing a great job. You're doing all that you can. It's great that you're asking these questions, those reinforcements and reaffirmations that people need to hear.
Totally. I talk about the chat GPT, my chat GPT gives me compliments all the time. I'm like,
yes, I know. I think when you start interacting with it, they understand
what goes on. It sends me emojis now. What?
I love it. That's great.
And so I think, I'm not in that situation at this moment, but it's, I can see where it is comforting, and it is, it's like it's intuitively picking up, on what it's feeling that that you respond to, right?
Right, exactly.
Because I'm like, how's my outfit today? I don't know, but it doesn't have eyeballs. I don't know how it knows, but that's what I.
Yeah.
But caregivers feel alone. They feel isolated
Yes.
and they feel alone. So just, just that alone, having
Right.
that, whether it's real or not, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't
Right.
It
matter.
really doesn't.
Well, that also, so the third and final pillar, because exactly what you just said, is that people feel so alone, but there are so many of us out there. So we wanted to build a community piece to it. And right now, what that looks like, because we're pretty new, what that looks like is we're an aggregator of amazing events that are happening all across the country that people can go and search through and see, okay, there's one in Atlanta for, dementia caregivers, or there's something just for young caregivers. It's virtual. There's some, and so just to see, and people can go, they don't have to interact, they can just listen. But just to know that there are other people out there that are going through caregiving. I mean, I've had so many people cry to me just saying, I know it was out there, I just didn't know how to find it. I didn't know how to connect. And that connection piece, of course, we're human beings. It's so, so important.
Right.
And you learn so much from other people,
Yeah,
word of
course you
mouth,
do.
all their experiences. So we knew that had to be an important part to HeroGen too. And so that's it in a nutshell, the
Wonderful.
platform.
That's great.
But
I'm curious, when you said when you first started caregiving and you would look for resources and you couldn't find anything, because there are a lot of different resources out there, and I just want to be open about that, because
Absolutely.
and many of them, I have my opinion about them, and some of them are very they're success oriented, and they want to cash in on the 50 million plus caregivers. And sometimes they're what I've found is they're just not actually delivering what they are saying they're delivering. What did you find when you went out there? What was missing in those other resources?
I think, well, especially when I started, which was, 10 years ago, which doesn't feel like it was that long ago, but the way things change, it's crazy. You'd have to Google things, and then putting them together, and I think all the pieces were separated, right? The collaboration, there definitely are project management tools out there that I could have used, or there was Google Docs, right? There's all of that, but they're all siloed and in different places, and it would just take so much more time to bring them all together. And then I think the palliative care versus hospice care for me is it was just what sticks with me so much, because I was so confused about it. When my dad said that he was, foregoing treatment, they said, he's going to be in palliative care. I was like, great. But then it was through the hospice nurse, and they gave me a pamphlet.
There's no single answer either. There's no single.
Nobody
Everyone
knows.
has a different
Yeah,
definition.
Everybody has a
you know?
different definition. We talk about it in the documentary, because I went through the same thing. Like my mom, they put her in hospice because it was supposed to be better care.
Yes.
And suddenly
Yes.
they're taking her off of all of her
And-
medications, and I'm like,
Right.
what's going on?
And now she's suffering.
Now she's suffering. Like she has
Right.
she has a pressure sore. Well, we'll just give her morphine. Well, then she's going to die. Well,
Yes.
yeah, she's in hospice, but she's not ready to die. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, it's bringing that back. That we had a pretty similar experience
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So I know
Yeah.
that's so important for people to understand the difference and what is provided in palliative care versus hospice care, and what and you need to know it, because you will need to manage that and be on top of it, because if
Yeah.
you aren't,
Yes.
it won't happen.
Right.
Chances.
And
Right.
what's so very important about what you've done here is that people don't know what to even look for.
Right.
They don't know. They are. This is all new to people, unless they've done it before, unless they've been a caregiver before. This is a new frontier.
Yeah.
You don't know what questions to ask. You don't
Right.
know what you're supposed to know. So for them to be able to go to and say, oh, or even if, like you say, events. What kind of event am I searching for? I don't
Right.
know. So if there's a
Right.
menu, fantastic.
Right.
I mean, so that's so important, because
That's
people,
exactly right. And
Susie
we've
had
got-
no idea what she was walking into when she became a caregiver. No clue.
Yeah.
I didn't even know I was a caregiver. Let's start there.
Yeah.
Well, that right there.
Yeah.
That right there, especially. You don't even know you're a caregiver.
You don't even know it. And, I think I was saying it wrong for very, very long. I was a caregiver, right? And I was like, no, it's a caretaker. And,
No, they used to say it used to be caretaker.
or
Now and then
caretaker.
it became
That's right.
caregiver.
Yeah, caregiver. I didn't know what it was. I was so confused because I didn't know what
Right.
I thought I was just like being a daughter.
Yeah, exact same thing, where, it wasn't until I got out of it and then looked back and then started realizing, oh, that was a big thing. Like that was more, and then doing the research, like, oh my God, so many people are in this role. And I was, in my 30s. I lost both my parents in my 30s.
I'm so sorry.
And, I didn't have any friends
Right.
who had even, experienced anything like that. So
And most people
I
in their
was
30s
all
don't
alone.
want to even think about it. It's not in their purview, and they don't want to think about it. And it's like,
they're starting families, or they're
yeah.
advancing in their career, and so I certainly did not realize what I was even doing, that there was a name for it and there were resources. I had no idea. I never even once really looked into my mom's disease, like diagnosis disease. Like I knew the name and I knew what was happening because I'd go to all the doctor's appointments, but I never even thought to like look more into it, to empower myself a little bit more with information. And so
Right.
we just want to spark those things in people because we've been through it. So now we know, here's what we can do. And at the same time, we want caregiver support to be more rooted. Our mission is to have it more rooted in the healthcare system. I mean, my parents both we're in LA, UCLA and Cedars-Sinai. They had the most phenomenal healthcare. I'm so grateful for the healthcare that they received. I will say, I was with both my parents, but my mom especially, every single doctor's appointment, and never once did somebody turn to me and say, how are you doing supporting? Do you need resources? Do you need support? And that's not a knock on them in any way, because doctors are overwhelmed and they're doing so much, and their main function is to care for the patient. But now that healthcare is being offloaded to families and the home so much more, we really need to have that dynamic change in the hospital setting as well, by offering them resources, knowing that, starting them, like, here's what you don't even know that you know, right? That you need to know.
Exactly.
So
And
it's part of
also
our mission as well.
on certain diseases that have stigmas attached to them, or misunderstandings in the
Right.
health industry. And again, not because it's purposeful, it's just that people in the health industry don't often take the time. They don't have the time. They're not paid to have the time to actually dig in and do and understand dementia or understand Parkinson's. So they're just looking at the manifestations of and treating it like a one size fits all, which obviously it doesn't. And so, and so many times I got, the kind of response from doctors that was like, impatient, like, how do you put up with this? I had doctors say that to me, like, because if my mom was like on a loop of
loop.
of this asking the same
no, I'm
questions,
so sorry.
like do you need a Valium or anything? And I'm like, what? Are you,
my gosh.
literally like trying to make a joke about it? And I was like,
Oh my God.
it's so insensitive. And then getting and then taking it to whole nother level, past insensitivity. It's actually destructive and it's torturous, because if they don't understand the disease, they're going to treat the person in an improper way, not appropriately, and that's when you get into really big trouble, because they start making these sweeping generalizations.
Right. And you as the caregiver are already so overwhelmed that to even take on one more, I don't want to call it a fight, but take on one more thing
It's
to
a
like
battle, though. It
battle
is.
is a lot.
That's going back to pillar one, and I think this kind of ties in all of that, and that is the to-do list. That people that, like, for example, when Susie's, and I was very close with Susie and her mom, but you don't, as a friend, you don't know, what can I really do?
Yes.
And if there was literally a drop down that said, and you call 5 of your friends and say, pick one, pick one. Now suddenly you have 5 things off your plate.
Exactly. Yep.
They're doing something that is no big deal, picking up groceries, and that seems like not a big deal to the caregiver.
It's
oh my
enormous.
God, it's huge.
enormous.
Coming over for an hour so you can take a shower.
Exactly.
Or go to the gym or
exactly it.
something,
Yep.
those types of things. So that list alone, if you had nothing else, that's amazing. And it allows you to contact, because people don't know, the friends don't know what to do.
Exactly.
Even family members don't know what to do.
Yeah.
My brother
And it's hard
is,
to say, like, go pick up my groceries. That's just
right. But if they
hard.
pick it, if they choose it and say, oh, I could do that, no big deal.
Yep.
You know,
And you can assign it. Like I could assign, I would probably have no problem when somebody says to me, what can I do to help? I would have no problem assigning, I'm like, I'm going to send you a task, and you assign that person, they get an email or a notification that they've been assigned a task, and then it's like done. You know, it's just that one layer of you know, removal, and it just makes it a lot easier that we've found with people as well.
Right.
wow.
I just wanted to pivot a second and just talk about your activism. Like you were talking, like in your bio, it talks about your background in that, and how does that manifest? How did that, and where does it come from? And are you still involved in that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't think you ever lose that sense of wanting to use your voice for change, especially when you see something, you know, that needs changing. And so my previous company, Same Side, my brother and I actually ran it. It was an events platform where you can hold an event, whether it was like a music concert or a yoga class or whatever, and you can connect a cause to it, and all of your attendees or guests, they would receive information about that cause, whether, you know, it was Planned Parenthood or, you know, I don't know, Sierra Club, whatever it may be, you know. Anyway, they would receive information. You know, where that started, I think just my parents were, you know, they were both teachers, part of a union, always had to stand up for what their, you know, their profession, or, you know, went out and did a lot of that. But, you know, my dad really was the one who was always going out to different events to share his, you know, being civically engaged. So, you know, I worked my first poll. I worked at a polling place when I was still in high school, and, you know, it was just civic engagement and using your voice and you know, being involved has always been something that's incredibly important to me. And I think, you know, my brother and I started Same Side in 2017 when, you know, a lot of people were looking for a way to have their voice heard that didn't really understand how to use it. We understood how to use it. My brother was, you know, a former Navy SEAL. Like, he was very, you know, very pro people using their voice. And so that's how we started Same Side. And, you know, it's ebbed and flow, because you can be, as you guys talked about with the documentary, how you're just flat out now. After a while, you can get tired. And so it ebbs and flows with me, but, you know, there's it never ends. So you get involved how you can. I think now I'm, you know, just changing a little bit of ways about how I get involved. Maybe I'm not out in the street as much, but I'm definitely using my voice in other ways, because that need, that desire to be heard never leaves.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, someone who comes from that civic kind of, you know, imprinting, don't you? I mean, for me, it's been so clear and obvious since I started this documentary that traditional advocacy just doesn't work in this kind of, you know, political system. And I'm not just talking about this administration, you know.
Sure.
My friend just she just wrote and produced and directed a film about Lily Ledbetter, and we watched it last night. Yeah. And I'm just, you know, what Lily went through is no different than what, you know, we're going through with the nursing home industry, right? So it's like they, you know, she would get these bills passed, and they'd go through the legislature, and then the lobby would step in and go, yeah, we're not going to let that go through. We're going to pay for these campaigns for all these politicians, and now it's going to die on the vine. It was happening. It happens all the time.
It's always happened.
It's always happening. So if you don't use your voice and get out there and be a strong collective constituency, nothing's going to happen. Am I right?
Absolutely. And that's a big part. I mean, we're not there yet because HeroGen's pretty new, but advocacy is going to be a very big part of it as we go, because, you know, it's just, there's so much that, especially caregivers who we focus on, so much support that just could be there and it's not. And again, you know, you've got to be someone's got to be that aggregator, that organizer, and, you know, that's kind of in our DNA. And so we're really zeroing in on that next phase of what Hero Generation does too.
It's so true. I'm glad. Yeah, it's good to hear. I just like to validate that, because I think, you know, I was like Pollyanna 3 years ago, thinking that, if something's wrong, it'll be acknowledged, and there will be some, penalty, and there'll be some, reparations, and there aren't. There just aren't. Like, you are
in this country.
out of luck. It's like, just cut your losses and buy, and your losses are human beings.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Does Hero Generation, how does it work? Is it a subscription service, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we have 2 tiers. One is totally free, and that allows you to set up the loved one's profile, and you can keep that in perpetuity. So we really, again, we know from our experience that being prepared and organized for when, maybe your parents aren't at a space where you need to be caring for them, or your loved one, whoever it may be, is not in a space, but being organized by having that information, ready to go when maybe you do need to step into a more serious role is so important. So we've made that free tier, managing the loved one's profile, keeping all the information in one place, totally free. And then the next tier is what includes all of the task and calendar management, the AI, Ask Andrea, the notes, and the messaging within the platform. That's a paid tier, and it's $17.99 a month, so it's very, affordable. We haven't made it too crazy. So yeah, that's what allows us to keep going and adding in new features. We're continually, building out our roadmap and taking feedback from users, or, people who are caregivers who aren't even users yet. We love getting feedback because we really do want to, we're doing this, at the end of the day, we want caregivers to have less stress, have less to-dos, and be able to spend more time, more meaningful time with their loved one, and not feel so either guilty or, just
worn down.
tired.
Yeah.
Resentful
What's the most
sometimes.
What's the most interesting or helpful feedback you've gotten from somebody who's used it that you maybe implemented?
Well, this is funny. I probably shouldn't say this, but whatever. Like, people are using it for their pets, which we were not expecting at all.
That's phenomenal, though. That's great.
Exactly. We're like, okay, if that's the use case, but that's not the purpose. But I don't think we set out to do this in the beginning, even though when you think about both Shruti and I, we're both sandwich generation caregivers. We both have kids. It never crossed our mind to use it for both your children and your aging
I was just
loved one.
thinking that too.
We're like, oh, obviously. So now I use it with my children and for myself too.
But for families that are broken, like if you're divorced and that would work really, really well.
I mean, all of the use cases that have come to us. So we've had therapists that have said this would be so great for exactly that scenario. Our families, they have children, they're divorced, particularly special needs kids that have a lot of care.
That's right.
This is perfect for them. I just the other day, somebody told me I'm using it for my college age student because they don't have any of their info, and like, God forbid something happened to them.
That's so
like,
true.
I know that it's all in one place. They know they can access it. I'm like,
Mom,
oh my
where's
God,
where's my
Thank you.
birth certificate? I used to get that all the time from my daughter.
Exactly.
What's my blood type?
What's my blood
Yes,
type? I don't know my blood type.
Exactly. Like all those things that like you never really think of, but then when you need them, it's really important to have them.
That's so
and
great.
You don't think about it.
Any plans to expand that to pillars 2 and 3, or just more that for other uses for pillar 1, like for children, having resources, things like that, or pets,
Definitely.
or will that
Yes.
expand to those pillars also?
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, yes. There's so many. The roadmap is endless, but we absolutely right now, obviously because we're growing and we need to be hyper focused on one target market, but people are using it outside of what we're focusing on marketing it to. But eventually, I mean, we're gonna have to raise a little money and do all that to really kind of expand the team. But absolutely,
well, it happens organically, right? Because you're gonna see like what the market is demanding and what
exactly.
So
that's exactly right. I mean, already because so many people have talked about children, we've updated our homepage to include them, like just as a little bit of like, this can also be used, but we're already starting to say, well, it's kind of seems like more people are wanting to use it with children, but our heart and the genesis of all this is with helping people who are supporting
Right.
aging loved ones or ailing loved ones. So we got to expand the team, but yeah, it's a good problem to have.
It
but
is.
we both Shruti and I, Shruti's a physician. We come from a place where we want to help everybody everywhere all at once, right? And
Yeah.
you've got to just be focused a little bit before you can really
Yeah,
expand.
I'm not a
So,
businesswoman, but I do know that too fast of growth is not a
Yes.
good thing. So
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
So that's
Yeah.
that's great. Is it it's an app then? I take it, right?
So right now we're web-based.
Okay.
So you can just log in online and on your phone. It's mobilized. It's optimized for mobile. If you log in through your phone, we wanted to first also make sure the features that we had put out there were most useful before we built the app, because it's a lot easier to just build on the web. But an app will be coming probably next year.
And is it easy to use for people that aren't
I think so.
internet savvy? Okay.
I really think so. We focused on that. We've had a lot of feedback from folks that see a lot of different platforms, and they've all said it's very easy. So but again, I'll take the feedback from users, and if it's not, I won't. We want to know. And so far we haven't had that be an issue, usability be an issue.
Right.
The issues that we deal with, really, to be perfectly honest, are families, where one person is more tech savvy than the other, and maybe the sister or the brother who, and this has happened a few times, they don't use it in their everyday life. They don't use it for work, but so to go onto a platform, it's just not, something
Not
that they'll
intuitive
do.
for them. Yeah.
So that's a barrier that we're trying to address now. How do we help families that have different levels of comfort with technology?
I have an idea for
all
you,
use it.
which you probably.
Oh, I'm all ears. Tell
No,
me.
I just think that obviously an app is going to be a savior because everybody has a phone, right? And so everybody has a smartphone.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
pretty much almost everybody.
Right.
And
Right.
then you can, if you can, convince them to keep their notifications on, then the main caregiver who is, scheduling everything, because there's going to be one, there just is.
Yes.
Then,
Yep.
then notifications can go out automatically, and they can be notified. And then if something is needed, then they're notified. If something's been completed, they're notified.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be a big help because you're not depending on them to
Right.
log in and see
Right.
what's up.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're
right.
pushing
You're
it. You
absolutely
need
right.
to push the info to them because
Right.
that's just going to help. That's my
Right.
That's my.
You're
I haven't
you're
seen it,
absolutely
but
right.
That's what I.
Yeah.
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 As of now, will there be? Do any of the notifications go out in like an email or anything like that?
Yeah. Email.
Is that how it
email
happens
and
now?
SMS. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
so it'll
if
say
they've
yeah.
set up,
So that's good.
if they've put their phone number
Opted in. Yeah.
Email is like the first way that they opt in, and then if they also add their phone, then yeah.
Oh, they need to add their phone
That's
in
good.
because that's
Yeah.
how you get
Yeah.
them. You got to get them like.
But I'll tell you, I mean, not to put my sister-in-law on blast, but my brother, my husband, who his family's in Australia. He's Australian, so he's his dad is okay, but he's getting older, and
Yeah.
they're trying to manage a few things here and there, and even his sister, who's in her 30s, is not it's just not in her routine. So
Right.
but it's good. Like, I like hearing that. I'm totally okay with that. I need to figure, it's my job, it's our job, Shruti and my's job, and
Yeah.
the team to figure out how
Some
do we
people
get
just
somebody
need a
like
little nudge. We got to, not
Yes.
you. I'm talking about
Yes.
the
Yes.
the
Well, how do we nudge that?
Yeah, we have to.
exactly.
Like, I think that's obviously it. I'm preaching to the choir, but
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, it's reinforcing to hear it. So I
Yeah, no,
appreciate
it's good, and I think if anyone's thinking that like, well, I'll never get my brother's not going to log in to see what he needs to do, and then so I think that when you have that part of it, it's going to be really really helpful because it's going to
Right.
it'll run itself a little bit. It'll take the onus off of that the
Right.
caregiver.
Yep.
you know.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
it sounds great. I would use it. I would use it for sure because especially with notifications and the fact that you can text message. You know what? If you guys do it, whoever's out there is doing it, put their phone number in. Don't ask, because everybody
Yeah.
has to get pinged.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
I mean, if they're going to
Yeah.
get free people and they're going to get, like,
Right. Exactly.
get
I know.
a ping about your
Especially
mom
if
and
they say,
dad.
"What can I do to help?" Well,
Right.
here we
Yeah.
go. You know.
Yeah.
I'm more of the ask for forgiveness than permission kind of person.
Thank you. I'm
I
with you on
agree.
that too. And it's, it'll be nice. It'll be like, oh, hey, sorry to
Yeah.
bother you. Sorry to interrupt your day, but
But also, like you said, like people want to help.
Yeah.
They want to be part of it. They want to feel like they're doing something. And so, as you know, you make it as easy as possible. That's what this does. They feel part of the journey.
Right.
They feel part of the. I mean, there's not a lot of joy necessarily in caregiving, but there are bonds that can be formed. There are moments. There's all of that can be formed, and the more that people feel part of that, you just share in that human experience.
Yeah.
I mean, I always say, like, when my mom died, obviously I just thought it was so unfair. Like, how did I lose both my parents so early? And my brother was the one who was like, you know what, Nicole, the way I look at it is like everybody has to go through this. We just went through it early, and I'm like, you're right. And so it's the human experience, and that was our experiences.
and you did quality time with her too.
Yes.
You did it,
Yeah.
and that's how I feel about my mom. My mom was older than yours,
Absolutely.
but I'm
Oh,
not. Yeah,
absolutely.
and I think it's never easy. It's never easy. Like my dad died when I was 16 in a plane crash, and
Oh,
my
my
mom
God.
died, in her late 80s. So it's like, and from very long path out. So
Yeah.
either one isn't
Yeah.
easier. Neither one
Right,
is easier.
exactly,
It's never.
exactly.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if in your 50s or in your 30s. Losing a parent sucks.
Yes.
If you have a good relationship, and
Yes.
nobody wants to lose their mommies and daddies. We don't.
No.
We
No.
don't, and it's never easy. But I always say that having cared for my mom, I wouldn't change that for anything.
Oh, not in a
Those
million
moments
years.
are so beautiful and valuable, and I mean,
Right.
you just feel like you've been through
Yeah.
a war, and you're like you call it hero generation. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
I mean,
exactly
everyone's heroes in that scenario. People
And it truly
people
is.
caregiving their loved ones. Yeah.
It truly is, and that's what
Yeah.
that's really what is more important than that. I don't know.
Right. Right.
I really
Right.
don't. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's hard to see when you're in it. And again, that's why now being out of it, looking back, why we want to be able to remove as much stress as possible, because there's so many things that don't have to happen.
Yep.
Or that don't have to be stressed over. And so if we can remove as much of that as possible by just a to-do list, gathering all the important information in one place, again, it relieves a lot of that time
Right.
and stress for more of the, meaningful interactions and the meaningful time.
Yeah, and you're able to be more present for the person you're caring for, because you're not, you are now don't have 7,000 things. Now, I mean, you still will.
Yes.
But if you've eased some of that stress, you're a better person for them. And that's maybe more important than anything.
That's exactly right. 100%. That's exactly it. Yeah.
Great. Well, I think it's great. I think it's great what you're doing. I think it's great that you took your journey and turned it into a gift for others, and you're paying it forward. And
Yeah.
that's what's that is the human thing to do. That is what we do, and that's what we're here for. We need to remain community,
Yes.
because without community, we are destined for a very bad life.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, I just think that
What's the
we've
point?
lost
Yeah.
community, and
Yeah.
it's so important. We really need community. We just do.
Absolutely.
And we need really nice hearts like your brother and you.
Yes.
So thank
Yes.
you for being good
Likewise.
hearts.
I mean,
Yeah.
thank you both, too, for
Our
having this platform.
our
and-
sister from LA,
you.
because we're LA people too. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
there are nice people in Los Angeles.
There are so many good people in LA.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all the good people love the Dodgers. And,
Yes,
you know, that's-
exactly.
yeah. Dodgers, go Dodgers.
Obviously. It's easy to be a Dodger fan these days. There are a lot of years apart, but
Yeah.
we're making up for it now. We're seeing our flowers after.
We're trying not to be too cocky, Giant
Yes.
fans and Padre fans, but it's
Yes,
okay. We can
yes,
we
yes.
deserve it.
Yes, exactly.
Totally.
We put in our time.
All right. Well, I love what you're doing, and
Thank you.
this podcast is this show. Our hearts are all about love because
Yes.
why, Dawn?
Well, that's because love is powerful, love is contagious, and love conquers all. So we thank everybody for watching, listening today. If you like what you heard and saw, please follow and share and do all those fun things.
And go to our show notes and find out more about Hero Generation and Nicole and her partner, what they're doing, and support them if you like it. And yeah, like Dawn says, support us, and also support No Country for Old People coming out August 1st. Again, I'm going to tell you that because I love you all and I don't want you to go through bad times like I did. So we're going to change this system. I love you, and everyone, we'll see you next time.
All right. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.